Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel for another walking talking, 6 things that we learned. It's a relatively nice evening here in Bali. It's the rainy season. There was a tornado on the beach pretty much next to my house yesterday, which is relatively interesting, but you're not here for a weather update of Southeast Asia. You're here for 6 things that we learned from Fulham 0, Chelsea 1. It's 3 points for Chelsea, big 3 points for Frank Lampard, in a game where the pressure was really starting to be on. You know, it was a game where we needed the 3 points. We've had games this weekend where United have played Liverpool. You've had Spurs winning, City winning, Leicester winning again as well, who are our opponents in the next game tomorrow. And it was important that Chelsea got the 3 points. Whether it was the most exhilarating performance that I've seen all season, it certainly wasn't, but job done. This is a 6 things we learnt video where we've got 3 green boxes, well, 2 greens, 1 blue, 2 yellows and a red. So a lot of you might think I'm being a little bit harsh, but based off of what I saw, I think Fulham did very well. I want to give a lot of credit to Scott Parker before we go into talking about our Chelsea. I think Fulham are going to do more than enough this season to stay up. I think although they're not winning matches at the moment, a lot of these draws, they've been unlucky not to win. You know, they went to Spurs and probably should have got the win there as well. So it was a very tough game. We knew it was going to be a tough game. But at this moment in time, 3 points was all that Chelsea really needed. And box number 1 is a blue box for Mason Mount. People still seem to have this thing against Mason Mount where they don't necessarily know what he does, what he brings to the team. He created 7 chances in this game against Fulham, which is an absolutely massive tally. It's the first time a Chelsea player has created that many chances since 2015. Mason Mount was absolutely brilliant. The goal itself, it was palmed out from the goalkeeper, comes to Mason, he hits it on the volley, tucks it in very nicely into the bottom corner of the net. He also hit the crossbar, I think, in the first half, and Mason was very good. The chances that he was creating, he was unlucky that no one else finished anything off. He would have had a few more assists to his name. And I think that as a creative player, what we're seeing now from Mason Mount is when he's playing in that number 8 role, he has that ability to enter the box very late, to come in and score or to get the shots away. His passing is getting more creative. He's trying different things now, which I think is a really good thing to see. And something I really loved about what Mason Mount did, which is something that has been lacking, I think, in Chelsea's play, and well, not really play, it's more about the demeanour of the players. The fact that he went up to Robinson when he put in that horrible tackle on Azpilicueta, which saw him sent off, the fact he goes up to him, he's getting in his face, it's something that we don't really see from Chelsea players that much anymore. And I think that going forwards, we need to have this kind of mentality and attitude a lot more. And if Mason Mount's going to be one of those players that can lead by example in that kind of sense, then I think it's a very bright thing for the future. We know that Frank Lampard is always willing to call upon Mason Mount. He very rarely gets rested. I think he's become one of the most important, if not the most important player in this Chelsea starting 11 at the moment. I thought he was brilliant again. Box number 2, we have given it to Callum Hudson-Odoi. I looked at the lineup, and we're going to get into that in a moment. And I think based off of the way that Callum had been playing, I was incredibly surprised when he wasn't starting. I think based off of his recent performances, be it from the start or off the bench, I think that Callum Hudson-Odoi has been doing very well. And when he came on, Chelsea were in dire need of a goal. The game was looking as though it was coming away from us, even though we dominated the possession and we dominated the amount of chances. But Callum Hudson-Odoi comes on, he brings an injection of pace. He looks as though he really knows what his game's all about now. I think at times I've always been worried that he doesn't try and take players on enough. He's got a brilliant pass in him, Callum Hudson-Odoi. We know that, whether it's a short pass, a smart little pass, and then a run in behind, or a long pass, switching the play, he's a very smart player. And I think we're seeing now that whether it is going to be from the start or whether he is coming off the bench in matches, because obviously we've got a lot of competition on the wings with Christian Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech both being big name players that are starting matches at the moment for Chelsea. There's my housemate Bolton over there. He's also wearing a red t-shirt. Don't know if you can see him. He is just about there. But yeah, Callum I thought was very, very good. Box number 3. This is a bit of a cliche and a bit of an obvious one, but 3 points I'm giving it a green box in itself. I don't think it was the most mesmerising Chelsea performance I've ever seen. It wasn't the most exciting of football matches, but at this point in the season, when we've been on the run that we've been on, 3 points was the only thing that was necessary from this game. Whether it was ugly, exhilarating, beautiful, brilliant, at times it was almost stressful, you know, when Ben Chilwell could have ran it into the corner at the end of the game. Fulham then go and break away, and then if they'd have scored that, I'd probably think that the game would have finished 1-1. We didn't create, even though Mason Mount created 7 chances, we didn't create too many clear-cut opportunities. But the 3 points and the fact that we managed to just get it over and done with, it's something that we've not been doing very much in the Premier League recently. It's now 2 wins on the spin, 2 clean sheets. I know arguably one of them was against Morecambe, so we can belittle that all we like, but the confidence will start to be building again now within this Chelsea team. Whether it was the best performance or not, just getting wins, keeping clean sheets, it's going to build the confidence, particularly going into that game away at Leicester at the King Power Stadium, which is not going to be an easy game, but it is a game that we really need to try and win. You know, Leicester are fighting at the moment at the top of the league as well. We can't afford to drop more points. We need to be chasing these teams down, trying to get ahead of them again in the Premier League table. And the fact that we get 3 points in this game at Fulham, I think is absolutely massive for us moving forward. Box number 4, it's more of a personal thing really from me, and it's a tough one to really give it a yellow box because we actually won the game, so it wasn't too bad. But I've given a yellow box for the lineup because when I saw it, I mentioned in my preview, I had a feeling that Jorginho might start. But again, I feel as though Billy Gilmour certainly warranted the starting place ahead of Jorginho. I think what Jorginho does, again, there was moments in the game where Fulham were on the attack and players are running down the wings and Jorginho is simply jogging, probably about as fast as I'm walking around. I just cut the video off there by accident. He's probably jogging back, probably a little slower than me, walking one step at a time, recording this video out for you guys in this little car park. Jorginho, not fast enough. I don't think there's ever really enough urgency in his play. I say this all the time, but the fact he always seems to go sideways as opposed to trying to go forwards is very frustrating. And I thought again that Billy Gilmour deserved to start this game, and I think Chelsea would have been a bit more direct if we'd have actually started with Billy Gilmour. I also mentioned that Callum Hudson-Odoi, I feel as though he deserved to start this game as well. And I think it was a lineup where Frank Lampard looked to call upon the senior players for this game. You know, he starts with Giroud, he starts with Rudiger, Jorginho, Kovacic, when maybe some others would have been more deserving of a start, maybe a Havertz or maybe a Gilmour, Hudson-Odoi. But, you know, it was a very assured selection from Lampard in terms of needing to have big personalities on the pitch. I understand that, but again, I still think the team should be picked based off of merit, based off of who's playing the best, in order to, you know, keep it fair really, and just to keep people happy, because at the end of the day, Callum Hudson-Odoi, there's only so long he's not going to be starting games in the Premier League despite the way he's been playing and putting up with it. We know that Bayern Munich came knocking last season. Maybe they do so again, who knows, but the lineup for me wasn't brilliant. I know obviously it won the game, so it's kind of difficult, and I gave it a yellow instead of a red because it was a personal thing from me. Let me know what you guys thought of the lineup in the comments down below. Box number 5, again, I seem to talk about him in every single video. I gave him a green against Morecambe, but today it's a yellow box again for Timo Werner. It was a difficult one for him because he obviously came off the bench. He didn't have all of the time in the world to make a massive impact and difference on the game. But he had 2 big chances. One of them's a one-on-one. He didn't score it again. And the reason I'm talking about Timo Werner again today is because something I've not really addressed too much is his touch at the moment. Not just his first touch, but every touch he seems to make at this moment in time, Timo Werner. He looks like he's panicking whenever he has the ball. And I know that it's tough when you're obviously a striker and you're a goal scorer and you're just not scoring goals on a frequent basis. It's not easy to have that instinctive nature, to have that delicate first touch, to be able to then go forward and progress with the ball or take players on or run at players or shoot. At the moment, it's lacking from Timo, and I know a lot of that is down to confidence. I said in the game against Morecambe in the 6 things there that I think the goal would have given him confidence. I think that obviously it's a definite place to start in terms of that confidence, but again, it's going to be something that does build. And I think a lot of Chelsea fans have been very quick to write off Timo Werner at this point, which I actually think is very frustrating because we've seen what he did at Leipzig. His stats so far at Chelsea are not awful. We've definitely had a lot worse strikers that have come in over the years and not hit the ground running the way that Timo did in the earlier parts of the season. It is a worrying period of form. It's a yellow box because I think he should have converted those chances, but he didn't. And box number 6, I almost said box number 5 there. Box number 6 is a red, and it is for style. And it's something that when I watch Chelsea at the moment, well, in fact, no, the best way to talk about this is to compare it to other teams in the Premier League. When I watch other teams that are competing near the top of the table, or not even just teams that are competing near the top of the table, even some mid-table teams, there is a style to the play. And I think if you look at Manchester City, we know the Guardiola style, we know the Liverpool pressing style and intensity game that they have. With Chelsea, at this moment in time, I have no idea what I'm watching in terms of what we're trying to do with the ball. I think I mentioned it in the game against City in the 6 things we learned there, that when City have the ball, you can already see that they've played 3 or 4 passes before they've even kicked the first ball. With Chelsea, I think too often at the moment, we get the ball and we have no idea what to do with it. And we're just kind of dealing with the passes and the movement in the moment in which we get it. And we're not really planning ahead to create special moves. There are a couple of nice moments in the game where we did have some good moves in this one against Fulham. But overall, I don't really want to end this video on too much of a negative note. I know it's a red box, but I want to know what you guys have to say about this in the comments down below. I'm struggling to understand what Chelsea's style is right now. I think we're still doing a little bit too much of crossing it in. We're not really running from the middle. And I don't know how we're going to address that, to be honest. I think it is a case of Lampard still trying to find his feet with some of these new players, trying to gel together. But it's frustrating for me at the moment watching Chelsea. It's not the most enjoyable thing for me to be witnessing, but 3 points was all that was necessary. So I guess this has been more of a negative spin on a 6 things we learned video to what I would usually do after a victory, despite an average performance. We got the victory. It's Leicester tomorrow night away in the Premier League. Gonna wrap this one up here. Let me know the 6 things that you learn in the comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed the little walking talking video again. Got an issue with my camera at the moment. I've been flipping sick for 2 weeks. My camera's broken. My laptop is also on its last legs, which is a little bit frustrating. So if videos have been a bit slow, I do apologise, but I'm hopefully going to be getting back into things on more of a regular basis very soon. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe to GBFC if you're new around here and haven't already done so, and I'll catch you guys later. Come on, you Blues.